Hi, I'm John Lennon from Metal Roofing Online. Today we're going to be installing the corrugated iron on this gable roof we've got here. I've got my two assistants with me today, Michael and Caden. They're going to be helping me out a little bit. So we'll get started. Today we're going to be using this insulation blanket here. It makes a huge difference when you're laying a house roof such as this one. It makes a massive difference to the insulating qualities of the house. And also if there's a fire, if you live in a fire area, if you cover all the gaps underneath the sheet, then you won't get any embers in there. That is a requirement in the fire areas, so you do need to use this. But if you're just doing a pergola or something like that, then most people don't go with anything underneath the sheets, but this is more set up for a house roof. Okay, so the lengths I'll get you guys to cut this blanket at. If you can just cut this blanket for me at 2.7 and just try and cut it as square as possible, and then I'll show you how to put it on. Pull it tight, Michael. Yep. Okay, so basically we just hang the blanket and the foil into the gutter about 20 mil, and then I'm going to cut this blanket back a little bit because you don't want the blanket hanging out from underneath the corrugated sheets, because it will soak up the water, which is not good, because then it's going to fill all the insulation up with water. Yeah, so we'll just put a spotty in here so it stays in place. All right. So basically we're going to put a spotty in that corner, Michael, and a spotty in this corner. And then this blanket that's hanging into the gutter here. You got the Stanley knife? Thank you. We're just going to cut back the blanket without cutting the foil. So that the foil's going into the gutter about 20 or 30 mil. And then that bit of blanket we've cut off can just sit in there and go underneath the sheets. Right, so we've got to do exactly the same on the other side. So we need two of these. Let's cut that back. Okay, we don't need that bit. Okay, that's our first piece done. So you guys happy enough with that? Yep. You better do the other bits for me. We'll probably need only 2 more or 2.5 more. Yep. You need that. Okay, and I'll jump up on the roof and start laying these sheets. So our first sheet here is obviously the most important one, because that dictates how all the other sheets get laid. We want to, first of all, we want to make sure that the bottom of the sheet here goes into the fascia, into the gutter 50 mil. So it's basically 50 mil past the edge of the fascia and into the gutter there. That is a requirement on all roofs. And my barge capping that I use, our standard barge capping is 140 with a 10 break. So you really want to have the first part of the sheet just in from the edge of the fascia there, and then that barge capping will sit over that nicely. And you want to make sure it's nice and straight up the side there. So 50 mil into the gutter and nice and straight at the end here. And then as we start laying, we just do a couple of measurements to check that we're nice and square to the other end. I'll just mark these battens out. Now I've obviously put a screw on the end here. Once I've finished the roof, I'm going to take that screw out because that'll be in the way when we put the barge capping on. But obviously I need something in it just to hold it for now. Okay. With this top batten here, because once we put the roll top ridge on, we normally screw through the ridge and into this one. I just mark the top and the bottom of the batten so I know where it is when I put the ridge on there. And these other ones, you just need to mark the center of them. Cool. All right, I'll just check and make sure that this is 50 million. Yeah, that looks spot on. Do you need this back?
Yeah, I will.
So as you could see there with the first sheet that I've lapped over, it's 1.5 corrugations is the standard lap on a corrugated sheet. It's a lot easier with long sheets to stay up there and keep laying. But because these are such short ones, when I stand on the edge here, it twists the sheet a bit. So it is probably best with a short sheet like this just to keep hopping down. And when you get this bottom screw in, then the sheet won't twist. If I was standing on it, it would be all twisted. Okay, so that I don't get them too much more twisted, I'm going to take a measurement to the end of the fascia here to make sure the sheets are square now. So I've got 1770 to the edge there. 1750 there, so yeah, it's about 20 mil out of square. So I've really, because as I said at the start there, these are so short, they keep twisting on us when we're laying them. I'll just mark that while I'm up here. Right, we're getting closer now. 1.5 more sheets, and then we'll start the other side. Could you pass me another sheet up, please, Caden? Thanks, mate. Actually, while you're there, Caden, I just need to stretch these sheets out a bit because they're just twisting as I'm laying them. I might get one in this. I might twist this sheet first. Just take that one off. Just see if you can pull that sheet towards you. There we go. Okay. Just back to you a little bit, mate. Yep. That's better. Just one spotty in the middle there should be enough. Okay. Thank you. Michael, could you just hold this sheet up for me, please? Thank you. Perfect. Here we go. Okay. All right, now with our last sheet here, we're going to have to cut it lengthways, obviously because of this little gap here. So I'll show you how to do that. If you just measure to the end there and then to the center of this rib, works out about 295 mil. So that's what we need to cut it from the center of the overlap on that one. So because we're cutting down this side of the corrugation, it's a lot easier with these red right-hand offset snips. If I was on that side of the corrugation, I'd need to use the green ones. It'd be a lot easier. If you are cutting it with the wrong ones down the wrong side, you'll find it very difficult to cut the sheet. Okay, that cut that I've done up there doesn't have to be perfect because the barge capping that I'm going to put over the edge here will cover that afterwards. So I'll just mark the center of the batten on this last one. That one's done. And see how square this last sheet is before I put a screw in it. We're only 5 mil out of square now, so I should be able to get that back on this last one. To finish off this side of the roof, we need to put all the screws in, and I need to turn up the top of these sheets in case once we put the ridge on, if we don't turn up these, then water can blow underneath and get in there. So it's a good idea, I'll show you, to turn those up so that they end up the same height as the top of the corrugations. So we'll just chalk out these bottom 2 rows, and I'll show you how to put all these screws in. Okay, so the regulations on these screws in Victoria, where we are, is that every second corrugation in the bottom row, and in the middle rows it's MIS2, MIS3. But I do know in Queensland that on the bottom rows it's every corrugation, and then the middle rows it's every second, because they have a lot more higher winds than we do here. So just remember that when you're putting these screws in. Okay, that's one side of the roof laid. Now we'll move across to the other side. Okay. So the same as on the other side, we're going to make sure that we're 50mm down into the gutter on this first sheet, and that the edge of the sheet is nice and square to the edge of this fascia. if when you're putting the screws in the washer there breaks and bursts out like that one did, then just get rid of it, because you need those on there to seal between the screw and the sheet so that no water gets in there. Okay, so we've just got to cut this last sheet like we did over the other side. I'll just measure what that one's going to be. So 300 mil from the centre of the overlap across should be perfect. Yep. Okay, yeah, if you can hold that one for us there. Ta. Okay, so all we've got left is to chalk out this side and put the screws in, and then turn up these corrugations at the top here, and then we'll be done. Perfect. Yep. Thank you. With these middle ones that I said, it's Miss 2, Miss 3 before, you've always got to make sure though that you land on the where the sheets lap over. You always want to make sure you've got a screw in the lap of the sheet there. So the Miss 2, you've got Miss 2 corrugations, then you've got Miss 3, and then you've got Miss 2 again, and you'll end up on the lap again. Okay, you'll notice, like I said earlier, I haven't put any screws up the top here yet. The time to do those is when you put the roll top ridge on. You screw straight through the roll top ridge and into that top batten then. It's not a good idea to, some guys like to put some underneath there and down on an angle like that, but I don't like to do that, because if you have to replace a sheet afterwards, then you'll have to take the whole roll top ridge off to get the, because you've put a screw in there, so it's not a good idea. Yeah, just wait until you put the ridge on, then screw it down then. So I'll just turn the tops of these sheets up and then we'll be done. Okay, thanks for watching another episode of our YouTube channel. That was how to install the corrugated iron on a gable roof with the 55mm insulation blanket underneath it. I highly recommend using the 55mm insulation blanket if you're doing a house roof. It does make a huge difference to the job. As you could see if you're watching that, it is quite difficult with these short sheets to lay them, and because they try and twist on you all the time. It is actually a lot easier on a big house roof with long sheets to get all the sheets square and straight, because they tend to sit a lot better. With these small ones, they try and kick out on you as you're laying them. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm Darren at Metal Roofing Online. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of our YouTube instructional videos. I'm Darren.
And I'm Lily. We are part of the customer service team here at Metal Roofing Online. If we've been able to bring you any value here today, the greatest compliment you could give us is liking, loving and sharing this video online with everyone you know. Make sure to tag us, as we love hearing from our followers.
If you need any roofing materials, please head across to our website and take a look at the fantastic prices we offer and our huge delivery coverage across Australia. If you have any questions at all, please email or call us, as we would be happy to help you.